Hello friends, and welcome to this month's practice, which is exploring the Vinyasa flow or the sun salutation, Namaskar 1 or 2, depending on who you ask. This would be Namaskar 1 because we're not doing a chair pose in it. It's one of the more traditional flows of a yoga class. And it's so important to me, especially in those flows and those postures that come up over and over again in yoga videos, in yoga classes, in yoga at home practice recommendations. It's so important to me that we understand how to kind of take those practices, those flows, that information, and to make sure that it is honoring to our own bodies and our own practice. So we're going to move through this Vinyasa flow as you'd see it in kind of an advanced yogi class, really fast-paced, moving with each inhale and exhale. We're going to focus on form, and then we're also going to do the same flow, but completely seated on a chair. We're going to do the same flow, but using the back of the chair. You could also use a wall if you had that in your space. Whatever your space allows. I know that my space is a little bit busier, the background's a little bit busier than what we normally practice with. It's because you really need a bit of space for this flow. So as much as possible, find space in your home, maybe outdoors. If you'd like, grab a chair. If you already know that you want to do this flow against the wall, I will put timestamps in the description, both on Patreon and on YouTube as you come to this link, so that you can find what best suits you. With that being said, I also want to invite you to mix and match. So maybe, for example, a standing forward fold feels really good in your body and on your low back and your belly. But then downward facing dog is not what feels good in your body. And so you might still want to do the standing forward fold of the standing flow, but then move to a chair for other elements of the flow, or move to a wall for other elements of the flow. So grab whatever you think you may need. Again, skip around to whatever timestamps you need. And we're also going to emphasize form a bit as we practice today, because again, these are the poses that seem to come up all of the time in like videos and at-home recommendations and kind of your quote-unquote average yoga class. The Vinyasa flow comes up all the time, and so it's also important to me that you understand what like engagement and alignment feels like in your body, especially in these well-known poses. As always, dear patrons, you can ask questions in the comments, you can message me. I know this is a slightly longer video as we move through a couple of different things, but I hope that it invites you into a practice that's maybe a little faster, builds some heat in the body, that enables you to really feel like strong, centered, and capable, no matter what that looks like on the outside. So that being said, we'll move into the traditional flow, which involves no props. You are always welcome to use blocks, and I'll walk you through a couple variations or modifications if you have blocks handy, in addition to using like the side of your chair or the side of your bed or couch. You can use a coffee table, truly whatever is handy for you. As we begin here, at the top of the mat, big toes traditionally are together with a little space at the heels, so the feet run parallel to one another, and they feel like they're supporting a stacking through your knees, your hips, your shoulders, through the top of the head. Ears might even pull back a little bit over the shoulders. Traditionally, palms face forward, so there's this gentle opening across the front of the body. Already, we can focus on form here and begin to tuck the tailbone under, drawing the belly button in towards the spine. Especially if you have a sway back or an exaggerated lumbar spine, that like deep lower level core engagement is really important. If you have the opposite of a sway back, where your hips already tuck forward, then the most important part of your posture awareness comes from drawing your shoulders up over your hips. So take a couple moments here, find a really tall, aligned body, and with this Palms open, chest slightly open. Begin to breathe up into your chest and belly. Again, traditionally, breath pulls in through the nose and out through the nose. But know that when I offer tradition, I'm just offering information. It doesn't mean that it's better or expected or that your body is obligated to function this way or breathe this way. As your breath is ready to, on an inhale, circle arms up and overhead. You're always welcome to take a slight back bend here, squeezing through the glutes, letting the shoulders draw back or the armpit area of the shoulders opening again. With an exhale, dive forward into a forward fold. Arms traditionally come out and wide, though they can also reach forward or immediately can come towards your knees or other props that you have handy. With a deep breath in, find a flat back extend or halfway lift. I'm personally in the habit of lifting up pretty high. I like to walk my hands all the way up to the thighs so that I can rock weight back into my heels. With the exhale, we'll move back into the fold, softening the knees, shift weight towards your toes. It intensifies the hamstring stretch, which I enjoy in my flows. So on my inhales, I really do lift pretty high up to really straighten out through the spine. Weight rocks back. Exhale, allow weight to rock forward towards your toes. Bringing hands towards the floor. On an inhale, walk, step, or jump your feet back towards a plank. Anytime you're welcomed into a plank in your yoga practice, knees can be up or down. No matter what the instructor says, no matter what people around you says, the most important thing is that you feel engaged through your core. So just like when we were in our mountain pose and everything was stacked and aligned, we want to think about taking that same alignment on the diagonal. Another common form error, and this just happens with practice over time, is that the shoulder blades begin to squeeze together. I don't know if you saw my hips dropped, elbows are maybe locked. That's kind of what's holding my body up. We want to think about pushing away from the floor. So shoulder blades pull apart. Again, knees up or down. Inner thighs feel like they're squeezing in towards one another. With an exhale, lower. Now the shoulder blades begin to squeeze together. Elbows squeeze into the ribs as much as possible. And most importantly, elbows point straight back behind the body as opposed to pointing out and to the sides. Now, if drawing the elbows in is really difficult for you, know that you might need to reposition your wrists. There is a bit of wrist flexibility in that traditional chaturanga form. So you can take your thumbs, point them slightly forward. This opens, again, through the chest, the upper body a bit, and often makes it a little bit easier for the eyes of the elbows to point forward and the points of the elbows to draw straight back. With the inhale breath, lift up through the chest. Elbows are still squeezing in as much as possible. This can always be a cobra pose, a sphinx pose, forearms forward, a seal pose, forearms forward but elbows slightly up, or an upward facing dog. In upward facing dog, tops of the feet are towards the floor, hips are sinking forward but with a big squeeze in the backside. So it's not only relaxing the hip bones forward. Again, you might notice here shoulders are pulling up towards my ears. Shoulder blades are pulled apart. In our back bends, we want to think about opening up through the chest. So shoulder blades squeeze together, and we use the squeeze in our glutes and through our core to lift the collarbones upward. With another deep breath out. With the exhale, the chin will tuck in and we'll roll back. You can always roll back to a tabletop pose or to a downward facing dog. In down dog, once again, we're pressing away from the floor. So shoulder blades draw apart. And this pose is less about pressing the belly towards the thighs and more about lifting up through the tailbone. Now, if you find you get a little extra lift by gently pressing the upper body back towards your heels, that's okay. But often there can be an overextension here through the armpit area of the arms. And what happens here is if we're overextending, really rounding through the back as we press back into our downward facing dog, that actually allows a lot of our joints, if you will think about it that way, our bones kind of hold us up instead of muscle engagement. So focusing, especially this first time through, on muscle engagement. Think about pressing away from the ground, like you're holding the floor up above your head, less of you're holding your head up off of the floor. You can relax your neck in this pose, though some people feel more stable and steady with neck muscles engaged in that pressing motion. Knees can be as bent as they need to be for that root of the body, the sit bones, to be lifted upward. So some people, if they lock the knees, hips and shoulders have to shift forward because of tightness in the hamstrings. So think about bending your knees, especially if it's your first downward facing dog of the day, and really lift up through the back of the hips, press strongly away from the floor. From here on an inhale, right heel will lift high behind the body. You can always add a little scorpion leg for a moment if that feels good through your hips. And with the exhale, the right foot will swing forward. It may feel good to lift up through the chest, kind of like another flat back extend, before stepping your left foot forward, melting into your fold. You can always hold here because we'll always come back to the forward fold before rising. But if you'd like, take an inhale, halfway lift, exhale and fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to prayer or back open into your mountain pose. Check in with your posture. I almost always, as we come back to mountain pose, you might notice, I almost always have to tuck my tailbone in again, kind of readjust through my core muscles. I know that was a lot of information. We'll go through in a traditional fashion, and then I'll begin to work in some more modifications and variations. With your own breath, inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, gentle back bend before diving forward into your fold. Inhale, halfway lift or flat back extend. Exhale to fold. Inhale, walk, step, or jump your feet back towards a plank, knees up or down. Exhale, lower with your breath. Inhale, lift the chest, any back bend. Exhale, tuck the chin in, roll back, downward facing dog. This time with an inhale, left heel will lift. Exhale, sweep the foot forward towards a lunge. With another inhale, right foot steps forward, and exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to prayer or open to Tadasana or mountain pose. Variation number 1. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, walk, step, or jump your feet back to a plank, knees down. Exhale to lower with your breath. Inhale into any back bend. Exhale, rock back into a tabletop pose. Inhale, right heel kicks high. Exhale, sweep your right foot forward. With another deep breath, left foot steps forward. Exhale to fold. Add your flat back or enjoy your fold for an extra moment, and then use the following inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to prayer or Tadasana. Another variation. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, move towards a supported fold. I will be using the front part of a chair. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, walk, step, or jump your feet back towards a plank. Exhale to lower your plank. Inhale, find a back bend. Here I'll be dropping the knees and pressing back. So again, my shoulder blades get to squeeze together. My glutes are still squeezing. Same muscle engagement as when my belly button was facing the floor. With your own breath, tuck the chin in, roll back. To either tabletop, hands can come down, or downward facing dog. Lifting back up off the knees, pressing back into that long, low back, that lifted tailbone, lifted root. On an inhale, left leg kicks back behind the body. I'm going to keep toes down this time. With an exhale, step the foot forward towards a lunge. Inhale, also step your right foot forward. Exhale, supported fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. Always welcome to take a little back bend. Exhale, hands to prayer or Tadasana. Another variation using the front of the chair. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, supported fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, walk, step, or jump feet back towards a plank. This time I'm going to walk my hands towards the top of the chair. You could also walk your hands further up the back of your couch or towards a wall behind your chair. Exhale to lower with your breath. So you'll see hips, shoulders still in alignment, hips and heels slightly different alignment. Inner thighs are still squeezing in towards one another. Same muscle control as when we're facing the floor. Exhale to lower with your breath. I'm going to keep most of my weight back in the feet. I'm still going to drop my elbows kind of down along the sides of the body, straight back behind the body. Inhale for any back bend. Here, I'm going to actually walk my feet in, maybe even resting my knees or shins against the side of the chair, leaning back away from the back of the chair. Shoulder blades still squeezed together, glutes still squeezed together. Exhale, tuck the chin in, roll back towards a downward facing dog, where hands are on the back of the chair or towards a wall. Inhale, right leg kicks back, toes can be up or down. Still welcome to add a scorpion leg if you'd like. As we sweep the foot forward towards a lunge, this time I'm going to take my foot towards the outside edge of the chair. So I'll do the other side so you can see. As I sweep into a lunge, that foot comes forward past my chair. If there was a wall here, I might even butt my big toe up against the back of the wall. This allows a slightly deeper hip stretch. We can really take a moment to lean a bit in towards the front knee. When your breath is ready to, inhale, feet meet. Come back to a supported fold. Always welcome to hold here or inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. This time around, I'm going to face the other direction so that my sit bones can come to the chair. Partial standing flow. On an inhale, once again, arms sweep up. Always welcome to add a little back bend if it feels good. Exhale, move towards a fold. I'm going to sit back into the chair, holding onto the sides of my chair as I lean forward. Inhale, halfway lift. I once again will bring my hands to my thighs. Lift up, tall spine. Exhale to fold. Inhale, move towards a plank position. Here on my chair, I'm going to make sure that the back of my body is pulled away from the very back of the chair in this variation. And I'm going to take my legs out forward and long. So again, kind of creating that same diagonal shape, except that my back is towards the floor instead of the belly. No exhaling to lower. This time instead, with a back bend, I'll lift up through my chest, maybe even walk hands towards one another. Maybe even drawing knuckles back away from my low back. Glutes are squeezing, shoulder blades are squeezing. Are you seeing a theme? Inhale for a back bend. Exhale, tuck the chin in, come back to seated. On an inhale, left leg this time extends long. No scorpion leg variation here, unless you have a chair where you can comfortably tap your left toes back. So that would be your scorpion leg variation, would be to take toes towards the outside of the leg, of the chair. Left toes, outside leg of the chair. On an exhale, sweeping that foot forward again. And then inhaling, lifting up tall. Exhaling to fold. Inhale, flat back if you'd like. And exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. For this rise, I will lift up out of a chair pose with a chair squat. Exhale, hands towards prayer or Tadasana. Completely seated sun salutation. I invite you to find, once again, a space on your chair. Back of the body gets to pull away from the back of the chair. Heels feel rooted down. On an inhale, arms still sweep up. Welcome to take a back bend here if you'd like. Exhale to fold. Hands can come towards your legs, towards arms of your chair, towards the sides of your chair. Careful not to grab your cat. And fold. Hold here, or inhale, halfway lift. Maybe bring forearms to the fronts of your legs. Exhale and fold. With another inhale, move your way towards a plank. This time, instead of leaning back, I'm going to keep my hands towards the legs, but still take my legs long. So I still get that moment to squeeze the inner thighs in towards one another, to draw the belly button in towards the spine. Exhale and lower with your breath, elbows squeezing down along the sides of the body, leaning forward. It can be the tiniest lean, and you'll feel the shift in your core muscles, maybe in how much your legs have to squeeze to hold you up. Feet can also be flat if that is what feels more secure through your ankles. Inhale, find a back bend. I'm going to walk my knees back in and drop my belly button towards the knees. Exhale, roll back towards your seated shape and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, roll all the way up, arms sweep all the way up. Always welcome to add a gentle back bend. Exhale, hands through prayer or Tadasana. One more time through the fully seated variation. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, melt down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, begin to find your plank variation, legs long, core engaged, legs squeezing in. Exhale, lower with your breath. Inhale, lift up, any back bend. Exhale, tuck the chin in, roll back to seated. And fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to prayer or Tadasana. Thank you so much for running through all these variations with me. If you need to watch any of them over again, or if you want a special video about a specific one, my dear patrons, please just ask. I look forward to hearing how this goes for you. Namaste.